Hi there, I'm Suzanne here at Mobilise. Welcome back. This is our second video where we're looking at admin goals. So if you're someone that's caring for someone, the chances are you've got double the admin of anybody else. So that's why we're focusing on it in this context. So in the first video, I asked you to very simply set a goal. So if you've not done that, go back and watch the first video or none of this will make any sense and you'll get stuck. So there's still plenty of time to do that in your own time. So hopefully you've then set a goal and had a week or two just to have that goal. Maybe you had a first step of something you were going to achieve. But the first thing I want you to think about today is how are you doing with that? What difference has it made to set a goal? You know, what are you noticing that just by having that goal, and if you wrote it down and put it somewhere, is it drawing your focus? Is it motivating you? Is it feeling possible? Hopefully it is. If not, you might just need to change the goal if it's not working for you. Or it may just be that it's been a busy week. Other things have come in that were unplanned and things feel a bit stuck. But hopefully you have that sense of knowing what you want to do. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do today is have a think about what are you already doing that helps? Are you noticing that actually this isn't a big disaster? You've got this that you do, this that you have that helps. So first of all, kind of have a little think about that. What are you already doing that helps? Let's celebrate that. Let's keep hold of that. That's going to be really useful. And then the next thing to think about is what are you doing that is not helping? So how are you kind of sabotaging yourself or stopping yourself from moving forwards? So it might be that if you've got a big pile that needs sorting out, that you're hiding it somewhere and you never look at it and you just kind of have got it squirreled away and it's not in plain sight. Or it might be that you're just adding to the problem as days go by, that you're saying yes to things and allowing them to come in. So have a think about that. What's helping? What's not helping? That's your first thing to think about. Feel free to pause the video if you just want to have a reflection on that. And the next thing I want to talk about, and we've been chatting about this in our cuppa group as well, is about the feeling of the pressure to respond. So if your admin issue is around, I don't know, a whole load of emails, text messages and phone calls, and these things that kind of demand our attention. And I don't know how many of you remember the days of handwritten letters and memos and things like that, and just how much more slowly things had to happen. I mean, can you imagine the post arrives, you stop everything and deal with that post instantly? You probably don't. You'd probably pick it up and put it in a pile and then come and tackle that at a good time when you're ready, when you're sat down with a cup of tea. Yet we're on the go. Text messages, phone calls, emails come on. If you're a smartphone person, you know, we're looking at them all the time. And so quite often it can feel like we need to reply straight away as soon as someone has messaged us. So that's just something to notice. Do you have to respond straight away? Can you choose a time when you would rather respond? And sometimes that's helpful because it just creates a bit of a pause between the message coming in and us doing a response. So sometimes actually our response is then more complete, is how we want it to be. And we get a chance to reread. We might get the chance to kind of condense rather than send a whole long big message or a long email and be concise. So that might be helpful. And if you're feeling that pressure and you're not ready to fully respond, could a little interim response take the pressure off? Thanks for your message. I need to give it some thought. Thanks for your message. I'm doing this at the moment and I'll come back to it. Do nudge me if you haven't heard from me by the end of the week or something. You know, just something that sort of sets some expectation. And I think sometimes where we put ourselves under pressure to respond is that we know what it's like to be on the other end of that, to be waiting for a response. So also just notice how we interpret something when we've had no response. So when we've sent a message to a friend and they haven't replied, or when we've sent an email or some sort of form or something to a professional and we've had no response. What are we thinking? We're interpreting that they're not doing anything, they don't care, they're too busy, and all those sorts of things as well. So sometimes that's what's going on in that pressure to respond. But sometimes we just need to check in on that and see what's essential. The reason I'm bringing this bit into this conversation about admin is so often our admin is the emails, the text messages, as well as the paperwork and things that come through. And that sense of taking time to understand what's urgent, what's not urgent, and maybe having our own rhythm around replying can help us, rather than feeling we're always on and always need to reply, that actually maybe we can kind of give ourselves a bit of a break and choose to focus on what we want to focus on, so that we can feel like we can make some progress. So that's just a little something for you to think about and see if that's helpful. So what about your goal? So our next step, well, I'm going to set you as a little bit of homework just to keep you moving forwards in a really light way, because sometimes these things can be quite burdensome. So my question today is, what can you do that would feel light, silly, fun, or uplifting that will help with your goal? So what can you do that would feel light, silly, fun, or uplifting that will help with your goal? So that's your question to take away and have a think about, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.